In medical research, every single day counts. For a patient waiting on a new treatment, it can feel like a lifetime. For years, the process of getting a clinical trial approved has been a huge bottleneck. But something really fascinating is happening over in the UK. They found a way to combine smart reforms with some pretty slick AI, and it is completely changing the game for medical innovation. The results? Well, they're staggering. Okay, let's just jump right into the headline number because this chart says it all. The average time it takes to get a clinical trial approved in the UK has been slashed from 91 days all the way down to just 41 days. That is more than half. We are not talking about some tiny incremental improvement here. This is a massive leap forward in getting crucial research started.
So a breakthrough like this, what does it actually mean in the real world? It's about so much more than just making paperwork move faster. It's about fundamentally changing the pace of medical discovery and, most importantly, getting that science to the people who need it. Right. This is where it really hits home. We're talking about the human impact. Shaving 50 days off the approval time means that someone in a trial for a new cancer drug or maybe a rare genetic disorder gets access to that potentially life-changing treatment weeks earlier than before. That number on the chart, it translates directly into real hope for patients and their families.
And this whole initiative has serious backing from the government. Health Minister Stephen Kinnock put it pretty clearly. The goal is to put patients at the very front of the line. This quote really shows that this is a deliberate strategy, a plan to use the UK's National Health Service as a launchpad for faster medical progress.
An improvement this big, well, it doesn't just happen by accident. So the big question is, how on earth did they pull it off? Let's dig into the new playbook that made this all possible.
Okay, so the core idea here is something they call a risk-proportionate approach, and it's a really smart, simple concept. Not every trial has the same level of risk, right? So instead of this one-size-fits-all process, the system now tailors the review to the complexity of the study. This means lower-risk trials can get a green light super fast, while the really complex, high-risk ones still get that deep, thorough review they absolutely need. It's all about working smarter, not just faster.
The other huge piece of the puzzle is the combined review process. Now before, researchers had to deal with two totally separate reviews, one for regulatory stuff and another one for ethical approval. It was a mess. Now, it's one single application that gets reviewed by both teams at the same time. It's such a classic way to fix a bottleneck. By running these things in parallel, you just eliminate all that wasted time and get to a single, coordinated decision.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly, the before and after. On the left, you've got the old way, this tangled web of separate applications, reviews happening one after another, just long delays. And on the right, the new way, streamlined, parallel, coordinated. The difference is just night and day. This is the big structural change that made that 50-day reduction possible.
But smarter processes were only half the story. Now, let's get to the really cool part. How technology, and specifically artificial intelligence, was brought in to give this whole new framework a turbo boost.
Now this is a super important point. The AI isn't replacing the human experts here. It's giving them superpowers. Think of these AI tools as assistants that do the really heavy lifting, scanning thousands and thousands of pages of data to flag potential problems. This frees up the human assessors to use their expertise where it really counts. And at the end of the day, patient safety is everything. So every single final decision is still made by an experienced person.
So let's look at the first AI tool they built, the Knowledge Hub. Imagine a smart assistant with a perfect memory. It looks at all the past applications to learn about the common mistakes and issues. This lets the human assessors give researchers much better, more targeted advice right from the beginning, helping them put together stronger applications that are way more likely to sail through without any delays.
The second tool is called the GMP Compliance Checker. Making sure a drug is manufactured to the highest safety standards is obviously critical, but it means an expert has to pore over piles of dense documents. Well, this AI tool automates that whole process. What used to take a human expert hours to do now gets done in seconds. That is a massive win for efficiency, and it lets those experts focus on the most critical safety questions in the trial.
So we've got new processes, we've got new tech, but what's the proof? Is it all actually working? And what's next for the UK? Let's look at the results.
Wow, okay, this number is just incredible. 99%. Under the new system, 99% of the initial applications were reviewed within the legal 30-day timeframe.
That shows that this new process isn't just fast, it is also incredibly consistent and predictable. And if you're a company trying to decide where to run a trial, that predictability is worth its weight in gold. And the lead author of the study that analyzed all this, Professor Andrea Manfrin, she really sums it up perfectly. Her words point to the 4 key goals of this new system. It's not just about being faster, it's about being safer for patients, fair to all kinds of different studies, and way more predictable for the researchers. That's the new gold standard they've set. So let's just quickly look at the journey here. The reforms kicked off in August 2023, and boom, we already have the results showing that approval times have been cut in half. But they're not stopping there. The next big step is new legislation coming in April 2026, which is designed to lock in all these gains and push things even further.
And this new legislation is really doubling down on transparency and building public trust. It's going to be mandatory for every single trial in the UK to be publicly registered, and for all of their results to be published. And what's really great is that they'll also have to provide easy-to-read summaries for the public and for the people who participated. This is a huge step towards making medical research more open and accountable to everyone.
So when you put it all together, the UK has managed to fuse a smarter regulatory system with powerful AI tools to massively speed up clinical research. And that leaves us with one final big question. Could this be the new global standard? Could this be the blueprint that shows the entire world a better way to get medical breakthroughs to patients faster and safer than we ever thought possible?